got a little bit of time left. So what we like to do when we have free time is something called a hot seat. So hot seat, if I could get Bob to come back up and participate. Sure. So what you're going to do is whoever volunteers, you're going to get to come up. You're going to get to share, ask whatever question you want, or share whatever issue you're struggling with or question you got about Bob's content or anything like that. And Bob and I will mastermind with you together and answer whatever your question is, resolve whatever your problem is, solve it all in the span of the next 20 minutes. And of course, the rest of the group can chime in as well. And again, you don't have to pay Bob for this, which normally costs a lot of money. So, who wants to go first? We promise we'll be gentle. Bill. It is all about ROI. All right, Bill, come on up.
Bob is the tallest guest we've ever had.
Yes.
Do we do hot standing?
Hot standing.
Yeah, we don't have. We need stools for this.
No stool?
He did it. Huh? He did it. We don't have stools.
We don't. No, I was going to have Bill sit and Bob and I loom over him.
We're doing 2 hot seats or 1?
It depends on how long Bill's takes. Bill talks a lot.
Bill, you got 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll do 10 minutes so we can do 2. What you want to talk about, Mr. Bill?
The having a sexier business name than less talk selling. How do we separate that? I thought I was doing a reasonably good job by being a corporate plumber and working with less talk selling.
So if the question is how do you create a sexier name, it's not just a business name. A business name can be whatever it wants, or whatever you want, but it's about the process of what you're doing. And I like to look at what is the big benefit that you provide the person you work with. So when I was talking about doing the whiteboard kind of stuff, I'm writing down every benefit I can think of, and anyone that has, and if you've got a customer that you've been through, this is a great exercise. Call them and say, what did you feel like was one of the biggest benefits you got out of working with me? They will often give you better insights than you'll come up with on your own. Because sometimes we're too stuck in our own heads in our business, right? So call up a bunch of previous customers that love you and just be like, can you just give me 2 things that you think were really helpful to you out of the work that we did together. And and then you start taking that feedback from a bunch of people and start using that in creating your unique name, your unique process name. So, Bill does the I don't know what the name of it is, but it's that process,
You know what I thought of when you keep saying the corporate plumber? To me, that those 2 words they don't relate. You called it like the sales plumber.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Corporate plumber is like efficiency expert and right sizing, but sales plumber makes better.
Stop making your sales go down the drain.
There you go.
I've even got a drawing.
But if you did sales going down the drain, then you're attracting people who are worried that's going to happen, as opposed to going up.
Or you could do fixing the leaks in your bucket.
Fix the leaks in your sales bucket, sales funnel.
But that's what
sales process.
I corporate and plumber, those 2 words don't go together.
They do, it's just a different job.
Right.
Because there are people who literally are corporate plumbers and go in and fix leaky corporations. Right. But they don't do what he does.
I want to clarify a point, though. You can make this name anything you want. Starbucks in and of itself, that name has no relevance at all.
Correct.
Right? They created it. And then they built the value behind it. So it's the same here. You can call it anything you want. And then you can build the value, because they're going to say, well, what the hell is that, Bill? Oh, well, let me tell you about what that's all about. And then you explain the value. And honestly, maybe a good way to start is to start at the end, which is let's build up all the value of what working with us really looks like. Then that leads you to what the name can be. You can work it either way.
Perhaps, Bill, what resonates with me better is when you look at the positive side, because what you talk about is plugging leaks in your sales process. How about improving your sales process to generate a flood of new clients? So
I like
on the positive
flood
side
relates.
rather than on the negative side.
Yeah, the Kanoki process.
Yep, it certainly could be.
Or the outlaw thing.
It's raining clients.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
But really what you do is you work at the closing of clients, isn't it? It's the listening and then it helps you close the...
Yeah, you're not teaching the salespeople to generate more leads. You're teaching them what to say and how to listen to the people who are already in front of them.
Yes.
The Kanoki close.
Well, and what I'm constantly on is salespeople all know more about closing than they do about listening or actually getting a deal closed. The the problem, the reason people can't close sales is because they never got it open. They jumped right on top of the close. They've been taught to close. They've not been taught to listen or to actually open the sale up or open the client up. That's just what you get. That's the reason I'm operating the way, or I'm trying to create this Mercedes-Benz logo and concept for what I do. Because the people that I work with, every one of them, Gary, what have you learned? What's the most important thing you learned?
Record the message. It's that basic.
Okay, so he's gotten a lot out of recording the calls and going back and listening to them. And then we'll help him hear what he didn't even hear as it went by in the conversation.
Remarkable what the insight you've given in various situations. More than once. Multiple times.
What have you gotten out of it? What's the most important thing you got out of the training, Jamie?
Today?
No.
No, working with Bill.
How are we working together?
Listening and putting myself out of my comfort zone.
It really is about listening.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you said that earlier, yeah, less talk selling. That's what I was trying to get, and I made some other notes after it, because a lot of the top salespeople that over the years that I've worked with, in the automobile business, when I was in it, the top salespeople were the ones who lied to their customers. And that's the reason they came up with initially my business was called stand-up sales negotiating, because I wanted the salespeople to stop being like snakes sliding around. I wanted them to stand up and actually speak the truth. But I'm just telling you about the way it was. I'm not taking any shots at the automobile business today or any automobile salesman.
That whole notion, mindset has done nothing but damage the industry, if anything.
Well, yes,
and that's
absolutely.
That's why there's businesses like Carvana and CarMax and stuff like that, because
They literally exist
customers
because of that.
customers do not want to be in contact with them. With sales consultants, I deal with it every day. I'm having to constantly knock down these walls, these barriers that have been, it's almost like it's been passed down by generations.
Yes.
I'm not to trump you, but nobody looks down on anyone other than mechanics more. They are lying, thieving, stealing, cheating sons of guns. Everyone knows that. and only car dealers or car salesmen are just maybe just
That's
a
why
little.
we're intertwined.
Yeah. Yeah. But we share in that reputation. Yeah.
Well, the home improvement salespeople have to say, there's a lot of salesmen that have that reputation.
So
that they
I
live through it.
I've known you for a while, and I don't know you real well, but I know you've been struggling for a while to take things to the next level. And I want to ask you a question. Who's your customer?
My ideal customer is actually the ones that I have the most fun with have calluses on their hands, and they own their own business, but they either have calluses on their hands or they've had calluses on their hands.
No. That's not what he's asking. Is it asking?
More specific.
Is it HVAC? Is it home improvement? Is it car dealers? Is it financial advisors?
You need to decide what market you're going to serve, because until you do, you will serve none. And there are millions and millions and millions of dollars to be made being the #1 sales trainer for HVAC salespeople.
Home improvement.
Or home
Okay.
improvement. Or
And I get so bored
Oh.
with doing the same thing.
So this is where his
every
ADD
day.
comes in.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So-
I've got, in my phone, I've got 6,000 great ideas that I could be working on. All right.
So that's
I mean, you're the tallest guy that ever told me that. But you're not the first.
well,
you get it here every
at
month.
the end of the day, you got to decide if you're going to do it or not, or just keep doing what you're doing.
No, I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing. Thanks.
Hand for Bill, everybody.
So here's my latest challenge. Doctor, you've been using Invisalign for 15 years. You have a successful practice. You're driving your BMW 7 Series. You're doing really well.
8 Series.
Nice. Your Tesla. Yeah. So you've had success with the product. Patients are happy. They see the commercials. The brand name is big. Here, the patent runs out. We come to the market, 75 years in the business with a big name, 3M, but no one knows us as the clear aligner company. So my challenge is getting you to
Same
try our
product, same product, different branding.
Correct. So it's virtually does the same thing. Software is slightly different.
So what's the benefit to me to switch? I'm the doc. Why should I switch?
We're going to save you a little bit on the bottom line,
What's a little bit?
30%.
Okay, and
And the software is more intuitive. a little bit easier for your team to use as far as getting the case transferred from the patient, what you see in the patient, to the lab and then getting it back. And that's about it.
Dean Selling.
So your problem right there is that there's not a good value proposition, because change is painful. I'm the doc, I've been doing this forever. Believe me, I don't want to change. You better give me some damn compelling reason to change.
So
I would rather even pay more. And anyone here, like, do business, you know you're paying more, but you trust the person, you've been doing it. You're trying to break an established relationship.
Correct.
Your value proposition, you better take that page I gave you and put it on steroids, because it's going to have to be through the roof.
right.
Saving a little bit, and our software's a little easier to use, not good enough.
Agreed. That's
Quantum.
why we're struggling with it. So the other part is Invisalign owns Smile Direct Club, so they're selling directly to the patient, the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can actually go to a vending machine and get a impression kit and send it in through the mail, and you can get clear aligners for like $1,200.
Well, but that's a different market, right?
That's the
There's only a
do-it-yourself
percentage-
market.
There's only a percentage of the market that's going to do it yourself, and there's a big percentage they're going to.
Yeah, that's going to be a very tiny percentage.
Yeah.
So the challenge is, even my most loyal customers I'm friends with and love 3M are reluctant to even dip their toe in it because they're loyal to the big brand name.
Yep.
I agree with Bob, though. You haven't given them enough reason to switch.
And you may have to manufacture those. So first of all, you can't.
I was just going there, Seth. Yeah.
Go ahead then. You go first.
No, you go ahead.
So you can't downplay, well, it's a small difference to your bottom line. That was not sexy. I did not say, ooh, what's small? 30% could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. 30% to me is huge. I mean, if he's doing $1 million a year and you just gave him 30% and he made 300 grand more, that's a couple more BMWs.
Okay.
So first of all, you did the opposite of what Lily, my 6-year-old, does. You took a mountain and made it a molehill. She takes the tiny thing and has a temper tantrum over it. So you got to make it like 30% is the greatest. I'm going to give you another. What do you like best about that car? I'm going to give you another one. All you got to do is switch.
I would take that one step further and say, well, not only is it, you got to think about the savings, the actual savings, but what about we talk about software being easier? Well, now we have to multiply.
Can we measure it?
How many technicians and how long does each one of those take to do the transaction with the old software versus the simplified one?
Yep.
And you got to multiply all those hours together and add
How many
them all
cases
up.
a year?
How many cases a year? Now
So
you're
are we
talking-
literally saving hundreds of
I can
thousands
say,
in
you could
payroll?
Walk in and look them straight in the eye and say, I can save you $500,000. Would you take a minute to look at what I got? If that's true,
You gotta do the
gotta
math.
The homework, you got to do the math, and so that when you walk in, you can see how many dental
Chairs.
how many chairs there are. You do the math, you do the homework. This is the thing that most people don't do. They don't take the time to really drill down and figure all this out. Like coming up with that value proposition, you don't just snap your fingers. You have to work at it and think about it. Ask the right questions. Ask the doc. The first thing I would do, any orthodontist you talk to, I'd say, what's one thing you hate about Invisalign? I would find out that the one thing that they hate about Invisalign is I would make that our selling point.
They sell to a dentist and they find that's an insult because they went to an extra 3 years of school and they are the specialists.
Okay, so does 3M sell to dentists?
Right.
No.
There you go. 3M is on their side.
So right away, all of a sudden now you got
See, there's some stuff coming out of there.
dig at that a little bit. I would definitely make that part of my marketing. We won't undercut you by selling to the dentists.
Bob, the other thing I'd like you, not how did you ask the question when you asked your question about better, or what you said tell them how much better you are?
Well, tell me what makes you different, better, or unique.
Okay, all right. So I would suggest that you ask if there was one, it was the Invisalign thing, if there was one thing that Invisalign could do better, what would it be? Because
He said, what do you hate about Invisalign? And you're just reframing it, like Adrian said, in the positive, and saying, if there was one thing they could change, if you could change anything about Invisalign, what would you change?
Well, let's go one step.
the most important part hasn't been said yet, and there's probably nothing. You've got to throw that into the conversation. If there's one thing they could do, and there's probably nothing, but what would it be? When you
The disclaimer.
throw in, there's probably nothing.
You make them feel safe.
The brain goes right on to search for what that one thing could be.
Exactly.
That makes all the difference in the world. That's
Totally
good.
That's good.
And I would go another step deeper, and my brain goes to, okay, how much training does Invisalign provide for the technicians using this stuff? Is your training any better? You know, do you have better training? Do you offer it free? Do you have online training? And they don't. You got to start asking all these questions to go down through every part of that.
I would go through every
process.
stop of the Invisalign process versus yours.
Your
He's
process
right.
versus their process.
Okay.
And look at where's the differentiation points and where's the value in what you do that's better than that.
That could be this direct mail campaign that you've been struggling with.
Man, you do lumpy mail and we send them a fake $1 million bill and go, how'd you like a real one of these? I'll add $1 million to your practice or whatever it is. We could get $500,000.
That could be true.
Yeah, we could make up a $500,000 bill. We could design it or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think I would also, you've got to address the elephant in the room. You've got to talk to the fact that, hey, they haven't established relationships, and you have to say, look, I know that change is scary. You've been doing that for that way. You're very familiar with it. I get it. So that's why we're going to do a
test.
And you better
do one
you
case.
got to come up with something that makes it compelling for them to at least try.
Right, so we did it for Karen for the headache relief special, which again, we'll finish the sexy title, but you got the special headache relief massage. What were the other things we put in the bundle? I don't remember the name. We got the fire and ice, or what were the three or four things they got with it?
Oh, like the headache roll-on.
They got. There was some pillow thingy.
The sports pack.
The sports pack.
Yeah.
There was cream. There were like 3 or 4 other physical things they got, all for the price of I think it was like around a regular massage or a little bit more. It was way less than the retail value that you would pay in her location. So it's a no-brainer to, geez, I basically buy the massage, I get all this stuff for free.
Right.
I might as well try it. And then after they're on the table and they feel amazing and she gives them all the stuff, it's how'd you like to do this how'd you like to do this every month or every week? How often do you get headaches? Every week. Well, here's the form to sign up to come in every week.
So back to that too, drilling down.
What's the bundle?
Right? Building this value, right? This case of story of value. Go back to so you talk to the orthodontist, but talk to the technicians that actually use the software and deal with it. Ask them, what's the one thing that probably nothing, but that you hate about the software? And I guarantee you there's things they don't like about the way that process goes.
Okay.
And that again gives you another point of differentiation. You just keep going down. And then you talk to the lab.
I would do a handful of interviews.
Where's the differences in the lab? What's the turnaround time there versus you? Now, things that you don't have a comparison.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about the turnaround time because
well,
we're quicker.
All right, well, then you can't accentuate that. But how do you spin it? So,
we're more thorough. We're more detailed.
Well, yeah, right, exactly.
We have a 47-point process at the lab, and they only have 22 points on their process. They don't even have a process. It's just Bertha going, hey, I feel like doing this right now.
Right.
I exaggerate for dramatic effect.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. All right, thank you all for coming. I hope you got a lot out of today. Remember, if you actually implement, tell us so you can be entered to win $100 and then have fun with your $100. Can we get another hand for Bob, please? That was awesome. Yeah, take advantage of that offer for the call because I guarantee you'll get stuff out of the call that you'll go, oh my God, light bulb.